that filter that Foodie Beauty uses that makes her look amazing. Oh my God, look how dark it is under my eyes right now. I had the light above me turned on and I turned it off because I thought that was making it worse, but it may just be me today. Anyway, hi. I just got back in from a walk. Today is my active recovery day, and I want to open up this drink, but I don't want to open it up too close to the microphone because it's loud and it crackles. So Saturdays are my active recovery day. So I generally have not been training on Saturdays. Lately, just doing something other than lifting weights. Like last weekend I did a trail run and with some friends of mine from CrossFit, and today I went for a walk and just stuff like that. Anyway, it's been a minute. I feel like I say that every time because it has been. Lots of things going on, so I don't know where to start. Where should we start? Let's start with all the stuff with my dad. So my dad and stepmom, we had their funeral services on the 20th of August. And it was okay, right? And I think I might have talked about this since then. I have no idea when the last time I vlogged. I should probably have checked that. But I've had like some weird, I don't know how to describe it. It's like weird emotion, right? Since then, just because like I was with my dad when he died, like, so like I saw him die, like I watched that process, and I'm not trying to be morbid, but like I know he died, like I was there, right? Ooh, don't bounce around on the table there. Okay, so don't want to make the camera jerk. My camera's like a little like my phone is a little crooked right now, and I cannot seem to get my little like stand to like straighten out. But anyway, but then like the funeral happened, and like it was like then he really died. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's very strange. It's been a very strange set of emotions in the last now like 6 weeks or so. But other than that, doing pretty well with that. The estate is officially closed. That happened a few weeks ago. I had filed the paperwork and they needed some changes to some stuff, so I refiled, and then like one day later, like I just happened to check the court records just to see if anything had been updated, and everything was closed. So that is done. My dad's personal bank account has been closed. The estate account is still open. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if anyone ever goes through this, I want you to know things, and obviously check with your state law to see what you guys require. But in Wisconsin, the estate may have to file taxes, and I won't know that until January. So there is a little bit of money in the estate account just in case we end up having to file taxes, if there's any kind of refunds that come through. Because one of the things that has happened a couple of times since I started paying my dad's bills was I would pay a bill, and then like 3 months later, I'd get a refund check because they're like, oh yeah, sorry, you overpaid, or like a payment from the VA or Medicare or something came through. And so, and if they make the check out, and they will, right, like to the estate, like if I don't have an estate account, I don't know anywhere to put it. So that will stay open. So that is done. All of the stuff with my dad, except for potentially filing taxes, which I won't know for a while, is done. Donezo. Fine. Very excited. I organized the attic. I really, really wish that I would think while I do these things to like record it and like actually make like a little vlog out of it or something, like a fancy YouTuber, but I just never think to do that. And so I organized the attic storage that I have here, and I was able to move like all my dad's stuff upstairs, like all the paperwork and like photos and all this stuff. And then I do have my dad's Marine Corps uniform, and I need to get that put in a special like case or something. There's two ways I could probably go about that. One is an actual like garment like box that has like acid-free paper in it and like whatever, and it's designed for that. I'd have to keep that though like in my condo. Like I wouldn't be able to keep it upstairs in the attic in the storage or downstairs in the storage. Like it needs to be a little bit more temperature controlled, which would not be terrible. Like I have enough space where I could keep it somewhere. Or I thought about getting a display case, which you generally see like with hockey jerseys, baseball jerseys, basketball jerseys, whatever. They do make those that are large enough for a military jacket, you know, and you don't have to really fold a lot of things, which is important, right? You don't want to have like everything folded and have it be weird. So I've thought about maybe ordering one of those as well. They are pretty expensive. Like I've seen some of them that are like, you know, $200, some are like $300, you know, but I mean, maybe I could have someone make me one, and then you line the inside with the acid-free, like material. Like there's cloth that you can buy, like all these things. So I have a lot of things to think about with that, but I definitely need to get that done sooner rather than later, probably. Just because I don't want anything to happen to that jacket. It's very old. My dad was in the military in the early 60s. So the jacket is from, he was out of active duty in 65, out of the reserves in 67. So it's very old. And I just don't want anything to happen to it. So I have to make that decision of like, how much do I want to invest? What do I want to invest? You know, and then do I want someone to make it for me? Like, do I call somebody locally and see if they can do it? Or do I just buy one and, you know, do it that way? So, and then I have to hang it on the wall. So that's the one. The other piece of it is that if I go the case route, it's meant to be hung up. And then I have to decide, like, where do I put it? Like, do I stick it in the dining room? Like, do I stick it, like, in the office maybe on the wall, like, which would not be a terrible thing. You know, I could just leave it in my office. Or do I just leave it in the attic, you know, like hang it on the wall in the attic, you know, and stuff up there. Like, I don't know. But I feel like if I'm going to invest the money in a case, like I'm probably going to want to put it where I can see it. So anyway, so that is all done. So hallelujah. God bless. We got that taken care of. My brothers have their inheritance. I have mine. The windows have been ordered, but they're not here yet, but they should be soon. So thank you, Dad, for the new windows in my condo. Other than that, things have been going okay. My job, I really feel like I'm settling into my job because as you guys know, I made a life decision 3 months after my dad died about switching jobs at work. So I am now on the front end of the business versus the back end of the business. And so I, at first was kind of like, oh my God, what have I done? Because the change it was a lot. It was just a lot of information and a lot of just like verbal diarrhea all over the place, like about all the things I had to know and remember. But I kind of feel like I'm slowly like getting my feet like on the ground and I'm walking forward and it's going pretty well. So I'm really happy about that. The weather here is amazing. We cannot decide if it's going to be fall or summer. So today it is pretty much summer. It's in the 70s. It's going to be that way tomorrow. Love me some Fit Aid. And we had this last year too, where we had a little bit of, I believe it snowed last year on Halloween. It didn't stay though, right? It didn't stick to the ground. But then the next 3 weeks in November, it was like in the 70s. And so we're kind of trending that way right now, which is okay. But I really just want to wear my big, thick, comfy sweatpants and I can't because it's still too warm out. So that sucks, but that is a first world problem. But anyway, so that's that. Work, Dad, good. Kitty, also good. He just had his checkup on Friday, so that was yesterday. And his vet is still in Madison, so like an hour away, back to the west from where we live now. And you guys know that Kitty had nasal cancer last year, and he's still doing really good with that. We have now exceeded our life expectancy. Most cats live a year after they have radiation for that type of tumor, and Kitty is beyond a year now. Not much beyond a year, but like a year and like maybe a month. So he's also outlived the life expectancy, has exceeded life expectancy of just a general cat, Like, so we've got that going for us. His diabetes still in remission 2.5 years later. Knock on wood. We're not going to talk about it. His vet is like, I have never seen this before. Like, this is incredible. And, and so I was like, well, we're just going to go with it, and then we did talk about, him being 15 and about what does the next, maybe 8 months to a year look like in terms of his veterinary care. And, I've been having his teeth cleaned, every year for a while, right? Since I can remember. And so, it's hard to talk about it, but it's not because it's like, he's had such a good life, right? And I know that if something happens, like if the tumor reoccurs and it becomes, a problem for him, like there's comfort care options. I don't just have to be like, oh, here's your cat, he's terminally ill, put him down. Like there's steps in between, we can follow to make him comfortable, to make sure that he's happy and, whatever that might look like. But we did talk about like, could we go every other year potentially, like looking at his teeth, and as long as they're not bothering him, like not putting him under anesthesia again if we don't need to, things like that, and so, and I know like I think it was hard for Kitty's vet to say those things to me, and I was then, honey, listen, he's 15. It's okay. Like, I know he's 15, like he's over 15 now, like he turned 15 in August. So like, I know that it's okay for us to talk about like not putting him through like, getting his teeth cleaned if he doesn't need to. Like same thing with his A1C test, right? Well, in animals it's called fructosamine, but humans it's A1C. And, I said, we've been doing that every 6 months since he's been diabetic, right? And so I said, do you want to just maybe try once a year or just as needed? And she's like, yeah, let's just plan maybe once a year. We're not, and again, just not putting him through things he doesn't need to go through. And I'm really sorry about the lighting. Like this is pissing me off, but I don't know how to fix it. And it's like kind of cloudy out, so like you guys can see, like sometimes it'll get lighter in here and then it like backs off. So it's a little bit, yeah, anyway. I'm not a fancy YouTuber, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so Kitty's doing really well. One day at a time with that. So, and thinking about it, it's kind of funny, but like if we didn't clean his teeth this year coming up in 2022, the next time we potentially would, he'd be 17. His vet said at that point, does it really matter? And I was like, right, like, does it really matter? So yeah, so that's where we are with that. And, he's happy. He's in my bedroom right now sleeping. The back door is open. I have what they call, I think I've said this before, on my little patio, like it's called a dust porch. I have a Dutch door, so the top and the bottom are independent of each other. So, but I have obviously everything. The windows are open today. You can probably hear the neighbor mowing his lawn, like everybody's, whatever. The leaves are still on the trees though, so we haven't gotten into the point of the year where everyone is like trying to clean up leaves, which is good because that's loud. But yeah, so we're doing really good. And I organized my office, and again, didn't think to record that and make footage out of it like a fancy YouTuber. But yeah, so things are good. Life is good. Training is going really well. We are in almost halfway through a cycle right now that we're doing. And then that will take us through the end of the year. And then we get into what we call the open season, which is the CrossFit Open, which starts in February, I think, like late February this year. So then we start training. We kind of leave the strength cycles kind of over here, and we focus more on like the metabolic conditioning aspect of CrossFit, which is really generally what you see in the open. Those tests are generally more Metcon than they are strength. Although you could have like what we call the CrossFit total, which is, a deadlift, a squat, and a strict press, like your heaviest lift of all three, you total those up. That's your total score. Like you could, and that's a strength piece. You could have to do a WOD, and then you might have 3 minutes to find a max rep, max snatch or max clean or whatever it is. So that could happen too. But generally speaking, it's a little bit more conditioning focused than it is strength. So I'm looking forward to that. My nutrition is going really well. Right now, I'm losing about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week, which is right about where I wanted things to go, just because I don't want it to impact my strength. So that's going really well. I'm actually really happy with that. Like, sometimes I tend to stall out, and it's just simply like my body. I feel like my body gets used to things very quickly, and so I have to constantly be thinking like 2 steps ahead of like, okay, like now what do I need to do in order to make this move, right? And so I'm feeling really good about that. Hopefully be to a goal November, December timeframe. So still holding to that. But again, feeling really, really good about where things are going. But anyway, so there's been a lot going on in the YouTube world, as you guys know. Amberlynn's boring. Nobody talks about her anymore. But Chantel has lost it. And so I cannot watch her directly. Like, that's not my jam, but I have been following along on some of the reaction channels. And there's some really weird stuff, like really heavy stuff and, whatever. But I have been able to, I actually have been able to watch some of it. For a while there, I wasn't able to do that. So it's actually been nice to kind of get back into some of the live streams with, like Pulpy Syntax, and then watching Milk Tea Reacts videos and Young Dumb Honey Bun. Her videos too have been really good. But yeah, that's a really weird situation, and it's really hard. I think the hardest thing, right, is like knowing if any of it is real. And you hate to say that, right, because there are allegations of abuse and and all these things, and you're like, is someone making this up? Like, is she making this up? Or are they all in on it together? And like, and all these like, freaking fake channels and, fake people and, whatever. And it's just like, is she that clever? And I just don't know. I mean, maybe, because I feel like there's a level of manipulation, right, constantly going on there. But anyway, yeah, so that's a mess. That's a mess. Yeah. So, but it has been kind of fun to be able to kind of, get back into that a little bit. For a while there, it was just too much. It was too much. Like the constant, especially when she was, playing in the snow. That was too much. I was like, this is too much for me, like, because I used to play in the snow, and it really brought back like a lot of like feelings of anxiety, even though it was weird because it's so secondhand, right? You're like, well, it's not you, you're not doing it, but you start to have those thoughts, especially as she was like touting, this weight loss and like all these things, and and I'm just like, oh, that's not a bad idea, and you're like, whoa, who said that? So you find yourself kind of thinking about things, and yeah, so it's been a minute, but it has been nice to catch some streams lately. Anyway, that's about it. So, but I do have a recommendation. If anyone is interested in following along on an eating disorder recovery, kind of path, channel, story, there's a young girl from Canada. She's from Toronto. Her name is Maddie Jane, and it's Maddie. She has a channel. She is currently a living legend. She like got mad at her mom one day and just decided to go to Costa Rica, and that's where she's been for like the last month. And so, but it's been really good for her, and she's been vlogging, and her channel is growing, and the content is changing, and all these really cool things are happening for her on her recovery journey. And so if you're interested in that, please go check her out. I don't understand how she doesn't have 1 million followers already. Like, she's very good. And and she's very transparent about pros and cons, right, of recovery. And so definitely, if you're interested, go check her out. Just give her some love, because she does have some cute little videos, and she's doing a really nice job with it. And she's come a really long way. So if you happen to subscribe to her channel, or if you have to go watch some of her videos, start at the beginning and then go to today. And the remarkable difference in just the way that she's been managing her recovery. And like I said, she just decided she needed a break, and so she left the country. So, and I legitimately like want to do that. Like, if I didn't have to take care of Kitty, like, I would totally do it. Like, but so I've actually thought about doing that with Kitty, about just picking a place and going and taking him and just going and staying in an Airbnb for a few weeks or something, and working and just having a different, different view and whatnot. So that might happen. So if you see me one day and I'm not sitting in my dining room, you'll be like, oh my God, she's lost it. She took the cat, she left. Like, and I thought about actually going to Toronto, because I've never been. And I, so Maddie does a lot of like GoPro filming of herself, like walking around in Toronto, and like she shows like different like little things. Like she does a lot of, early on she was doing not as much anymore, but a lot of fear food stuff, right? And so she would go in and like buy a croissant, and she would show all these things and like all these different bakeries, and don't get me wrong, I can buy a croissant 5 blocks away at the North Shore Boulangerie. Like, but I kind of feel like it would taste better if I was eating it in Toronto. Right. That's a thing, right? So it's beautiful, and I know that Toronto is a lot like New York City. Like, I know that, right? Just because, I'm aware of that, but I've never been. So I thought about maybe taking Kitty and going to Toronto, because Toronto from here is, I think, just a little over 500 miles. So it's, probably like an 8-hour drive, I would guess. But I am afraid of getting stuck in Canada, because you never know when they might close the borders, and how am I going to explain to my boss that I'm stuck in Canada, even though I can work from anywhere, right? But like, how would I explain that? Like, I'm sorry, I decided to pack up my cat and drive to Toronto, and they closed the borders, and now we're stuck here, And so I'm also unsure about how quarantining works there right now. I think because I'm an American, I don't have to. I don't think so. But I was a little bit worried, and I have to research this. I just haven't had the chance to really dig into it. I also am not sure if I would have to do something with Kitty, and if that is a requirement. I don't think it is in Canada, like, because we're a border country. Like, if I were to go to Europe with him, I think it's an automatic, like, a 30-day quarantine for him. And I think you actually have to do it like at a facility, or you used to. That may not be the case anymore. I just am remembering when my sister-in-law's sister went to Ireland for a year, and she took her 2 dogs with her, and she had to leave them somewhere for like a month when she was in Ireland. And so I can't do that with my 15-year-old cat. I cannot do that. I couldn't do it even if Kitty was a baby kitty. Like, I would just break the law and keep him with me. But yes, I've thought about that. I thought about maybe Nashville. Although I've been to Nashville, so I don't know, like, I was like, well, where else would I might want to go? I thought maybe like Salt Lake City, but now it's getting to be winter time. It's going to be like all the skiers and stuff, and which would be cool. But it's going to be just more expensive because it's in season or whatever. So, but yeah, I think maybe Toronto, that might be my thing. I'm just not sure when. Like, I'd love to go like November-ish, maybe. But like with the American Thanksgiving, right? So this Monday is Canadian Thanksgiving. Like, I feel like people travel more, and like it's a holiday, and even though it's not a Canadian holiday, it's a US holiday, and I just feel like everything is so expensive around the holidays, and like the price of gas is getting crazy. Because obviously I don't want to fly with Kitty, I just want to drive us there. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. As soon as I can figure out what I want to do, where I want to go, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. It's going to be fun. She has totally inspired me to try it. So anyway, go check out her channel. Like I said, she's done a really nice job with it. And also, not everyone, I understand, is a fan of Young Dumb Honey Bun, but she has also grown and has come a long way in the last year and a half or so. She's not so angry anymore. She used to be really angry. That was kind of her jam, and then she realized she didn't have to be that way. But she is doing her own nails, and so she has this thing. That's what this is. This is just like gel nail polish, right? It's Markat, Markatt. They have tons of like professional grade stuff. She has a code, so go to her channel and grab the code if you're interested. I'm still learning and like practicing, but I'm really happy with how everything turned out, and way cheaper than going to get them done. And like, I used to like, not like, no joke, for years I had my nails done every 2 weeks for years. Like, I like acrylic, and it like wrecks your nails after a while, and then you just like, this sucks because your nails are always wrecked, right, from it. So when COVID hit, like I didn't have my nails done for an entire year, right? And then I just was like, and then I moved. And I was like, well, now I got to find a new nail girl. And, and that's hard. It's just like finding a hairdresser. Like, it's hard to sometimes find service providers that you like and you click with or whatever. And so I haven't had my nails done at all in like a year and a half. And so I started following her, like, a while ago. And then this popped up. And she does a lot of like collabby, like sponsorship, whatever things, however you want to call it. She does a lot of that stuff. And so, but really cool stuff, and she has like, her nails right now look amazing, cause she has like little jewels on them and different things or whatever. I'm not all fancy like that just because of CrossFit it can't be, but like, just they get in the way. And so I like to wear my nails like short, whatever, paint them, make them look pretty. So yeah, so like I said, I'm still practicing and perfecting, but it was very simple. Like, you get a little like gel, like cure lamp thing, like works great, all the stuff, really fun colors, all different. If you like tips, like, cause she has like tips on her nails, like you can get like, you can just glue them on, whatever, and decorate them and do all sorts of cool things. So if you're interested in that, go check out her channel, grab her code. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10. Anyway, that is it. Thank you for coming to my little vlog of my boring life. I hope you're all doing well. Get your booster shot if you need it, if you want it. Get your COVID shot if you want it. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Yeah. And the holidays are coming, which is awesome. And can also be stressful. So if you're stressed out, make sure you tell somebody, and you don't have to say yes if you don't want to go somewhere. And yeah. I hope you guys are doing good. And I'll talk to you again soon. Have a nice weekend. Bye.